We need to get on the same page, my friends. And by on the same page, I mean all of humanity who wants to remain free and sovereign needs to be on the same page right now as we move forward into the future. I was just watching a video that someone else had posted. It was Laura Aboli, Aboli, her speech on transhumanism. It's phenomenal. I will post a portion of it and maybe even the whole thing on my Instagram at gmarkphillips right after this video. It'll also be, again, I do not have the, it'll also be in the upcoming version number 4 of The Great Awakening. You can learn more at Great Awakening Guide. A link to her speech will be in there. It's on YouTube. You can find it. Search Laura Aboli, Aboli, transhumanism. Every human being needs to watch this speech. My concern came, and this is what I wanted to make this video for. My concern came when a number of the comments under the speech were saying things like, this woman's lost her mind. She's out in left field. She's off her rocker. What planet is she from? And I am sitting there going, that person, these people, a number of people commenting, they have no idea what's going on. Let's recap. Again, let's get on the same page, my friends. I'm on the World Economic Forum's website here. I don't think people understand or know about, maybe they don't know about it. I don't think people know that Klaus Schwab and his crew over there at the World Economic Forum are talking about the next revolution, right? They talk about the Industrial Revolution. Now they're talking about the fourth revolution. And let me tell you what they're talking about here, because this is exactly what Laura Aboli is talking about. Let's see, this fourth industrial revolution is, however, fundamentally different. It is characterized by a range of new technologies that are fusing the physical, the digital, and the biological worlds. Sounds science fiction, doesn't it? It's not. Let me continue. Impacting all disciplines, economies, industries, and even changing, pay close attention to this, even changing ideas about what it means to be human. Remember, they are a non-elected body. I don't want them planning or predicting or involved in anything about being human from my perspective at all. You can check that out at the World Economic Forum. Go check out Google Fourth Revolution, World Economic Forum, and read it for yourself. Now, I've also got a little clip I'm going to play here of Noah Harari. Now, if you don't know who Noah Harari is, he is Klaus Schwab's, I don't know, what would you call him? Scientist, accomplice, sidekick? I don't know what he's all involved in. He's all involved in this merger of human and AI and technology, right? Again, the dude sketches me out personally, but that's just me. Again, the reason I'm sharing this with you is people making comments that Laura Aboli doesn't know what she's talking about, they need to catch up. They need to catch up real quick, because if you haven't been paying attention for 50 years, real heavy for the last probably 5 to 10, the World Economic Forum and others like them have been planning your future and how you're going to interact in your future. Did you know they've been planning that? I hadn't until the last few years. Something you might want to look into. Now let's listen to this little clip from Noah Harari.
We are reaching a point in human history that we have enough biological knowledge and we have enough computing power.
Oh, my bad. Let me get back here. I was trying to turn up the volume.
And all you need in order to systematically hack millions of people is just the data. That to hack people means to know people better than they know themselves. To somebody in San Francisco, in Beijing, knows more about you than you know about yourself. About your medical condition, about your mental weaknesses, things that you did 5 years ago, 20 years ago, you completely forgot about them, they know it. Right. This is something we never faced before. Not even the KGB could do it. Right. If we allow this kind of data to be accumulated by a few corporations or governments, the result will be really the end of democracy in the free market and the creation of new kinds of totalitarian regimes or total surveillance regimes in which somebody knows you better and can therefore manipulate you. We are reaching a point in human history that...
Sounds like your friend, doesn't he? Sounds like he cares about you, doesn't he? In my experience, he does not. we do need to get on the same page, right? If we want to be successful and win the war that we are in. Mark Moss calls it the battle for the fate of humanity. If you're not watching Mark Moss videos on YouTube, you're probably behind the 8 ball on this one. This isn't a game. It isn't a joke. It isn't conspiracy theory. This is really going down in our world. 100%. And here, let me just end with this. Their goal is to not modify your behavior, but manipulate your behavior, to change the way you think and the way you act in the world, to basically govern you through the merging of technology, AI, and biology, and make you do things that they want you to do. Is it that far-fetched? I mean, is it that far-fetched? It's every sick human being's dream to control other human beings. It's been happening from the dawn of time. Slavery of people has been happening from the dawn of time. Now imagine if the slave owners could change permanently, fundamentally, the way the slaves think and behave. And in fact, they have been doing that all along too. Yeah, all along too. It's called propaganda. It's called changing people's beliefs and paradigm of the world. Happens in the education system. It happens through the mainstream media. It happens through the entertainment industry. The movies your children are watching and you're watching, they're programming you. They're programming you. This is why I do not watch very many, if any at all, movies coming out of Hollywood anymore. In fact, I'll tell you a little story. One of the movies that made me sick to my stomach and made me repulsed about what was coming out of Hollywood was the second Suicide Squad. And I know, don't get on me for watching that bullshit, but this was years ago, and I watched it. If you haven't seen it, go check it out for educational purposes, because there's a mad scientist dude in that movie, and it reminds me of Noah Harari. That guy reminds me of Noah Harari. He is this crazy mad scientist doing all this weird shit to humans in the movie. And at that point in time, at that movie, I was like, you know what? I'm pretty much done watching Hollywood's bullshit anymore, including the violence, including all the John Wick. I love Keanu Reeves, and I love what he's doing in the world, you know, outside of acting. I love what he's doing with ARC motorcycles and all of his generosity and his giving, and he seems like a great guy. I can't wrap my mind around why he continues to make ultra-violent movies that affect the consciousness of people watching those movies and our collective consciousness. Where was I with this point that I was making? I was talking about they're already modifying your behavior through the books and the magazines and the news and the education system and the entertainment industry and the music. Don't listen to angst-filled music. Don't listen to violent music, because what's that going to do? It's going to infect your consciousness with those ideas, with that energy. And you're going to go out in the world and you're going to have that. This is why when we had what was the shooting in Texas where Matthew McConaughey talked about, he gave a speech at the White House. I can't remember the name of the city. This is why when Matthew McConaughey gave that speech, and I made a video about it on my YouTube channel, you can check it out. There's a link in my bio on Instagram at @GMarkPhillips. He mentioned, hey, we got to get rid of the GUNS. And you know what? He didn't one time talk about Hollywood's role in the violence in our world. He didn't one time talk about the pharmaceutical and the psycho drugs that people are on, right, that affect their biochemistry in ways that we may not know. He didn't talk about that. He did not talk about the food industry affecting people's bodies and the way they think. And I'll say it again, double back, because I think it's probably the most important factor. But he didn't talk about violent video games. He didn't talk about the fragmenting of the family. Right? He didn't talk about social isolation and what that does to a human being. He didn't talk about people having lack of social skills, and that hinders them in connecting with other human beings, which, if you know anything about health and wellness, you know that social connection is vitally important for a healthy human being. Having friends you can talk with. Hey, I'm having a bad day. Well, you had a bad day the other day. Let's relate about it. Let's talk about that. And I will say it again, he did not say one word about the violence coming out of Hollywood. You don't think that's programming young kids who are already on an island detached from reality without any basis of morals and values and maybe doesn't have God in their life? You don't think that's going to affect them? You bet it is. You bet it is. My point is this. We're already in their little matrix being programmed. So if you are not caught up on this, I would encourage you to do so, because you definitely don't want to wake up one day living in some kind of a mind prison in a 15-minute city, locked down, eating bugs, not being able to go to the countryside or travel or use your electric vehicle because it is shut down. And the police are at your door saying, hey, by the way, your neighbor heard you cough the other day and we got to put you in the COVID concentration camp for 15 days. Come with us, please. And oh, by the way, you don't have a say in that. All that shit is planned for our world. And I'll leave you with this. The G20 met a few years ago, maybe a year ago, and all of them put on their master agenda, like the most important thing in the world, which blows my mind, given all the other problems we have in our world. The most important thing in our world is VACCINE passports. Oh, it's not the price of food and housing. That's not the most important thing. It's not the fact that the social fabric of our world is getting torn apart. Families are splintered. Friendships are splintered. Those aren't important. I could go on and on down the list, right? It's not the health and well-being of humans that is important. It's not the quality of our food that's important, right? It's not these wars that are raging around the world they're not important, right? It's not the famines that are important. It's a VACCINE passport that's important. Now, I don't know about you, but when I'm sitting around with my friends and family talking about world events, I have never once said, you know, it would be really great if we could get some vaccine passports. That would be really great. I think it's the biggest problem facing America. No, we talk about the price of goods and services and housing in America. That's important to people. These people, clown shows at the top of the leadership hierarchy in our world, are right now designing a world that they want you to live in. I don't want any part of their bullshit at all, in any way, shape, or form. Catch yourself up if you're not caught up with what the World Economic Forum is doing, what the World Health Organization is doing, both unelected bodies, I might add, with what this Noah Harari guy's up to, right? With what your politicians are up to, and get up to speed, my friends. Thanks for watching this video. Stay vigilant and stay aware and stay informed. Knowledge is power. There's two kinds of people in the world moving forward, a knowledgeable person and an ignorant person. Which one do you think is going to be more easy to control and make a slave? A mind slave and a physical slave and a spiritual slave and an emotional slave. The ignorant one is going to be that easy. Have an awesome day. Thank you very much for listening. Go check out and download The Great Awakening at greatawakeningguide.com. This is version 3 that's up there right now. Live links to all these different documentaries and movies and books and videos to help bring you up to speed on what's going on. I need to work up version number 4. It's coming down the road. I'd love to have you as a subscriber on my social media at gmarkphillips or my YouTube channel at gmarkphillips. Again, thanks so much for listening. Have an awesome day. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.